B&B spoilers Wednesday, November 26th. The strangest Thanksgivings imaginable. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for Wednesday, November 26th reveal Thanksgiving in Los Angeles with a very odd guest list. Where is Brooke? The Finnegans celebrate Thanksgiving with only one extra Forrester. Ridge Forrester, Torsten K. So, where is his new bride for the 13th time, Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang? Does she not want to spend the holiday with her husband? Check out our weekly B&B spoilers here. Did Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, decide that Brooke wasn't welcome? Either way, it is a happy celebration at the Cliff House as Steffi and John Finn Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, celebrate with Hayes Finnegan, Brian David Garlick, and Kelly Spencer, Sophia Parras. They finally have Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, out of their lives for good, or so they believe. There seems to be no doubt that she is dead this time around, but they thought she was dead last summer, too, thanks to Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda. The year has been a difficult one as they have also dealt with Liam Spencer's, Scott Clifton, illness, but he is happy and healthy now and ready to marry Hope Logan, Annika Noel again, so there is no reason for a somber Thanksgiving this year. Breaking bread with breadsticks. The scene at Il Giardino is a strange one when Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, and Carter Walton, Lauren St. Victor, break bread with Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, and Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown. It wasn't that long ago when Deacon and Carter had a martial arts showdown in the Forrester Creations design office and wanted to injure each other. Deacon was fighting for his daughter's honor, and Carter was just fighting because he had just lost hope and didn't think he had done anything wrong. Daphne was the one who had to break things up, and now they are all sharing Thanksgiving dinner together. How odd life can be. Is Daphne going to take to the mic and serenade them all with another sultry, sad song? That seems to be her second career these days. Maybe Deacon and Sheila will even offer her a job and she can sell perfume after every show. But for now, she will enjoy a nice American Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving in Los Angeles was never simple. Not for the Forresters, not for the Logans, and certainly not this year. The city shimmered with warm lights and crisp fall air. But under that festive glow simmered chaos, secrets, and barely contained fury. If there had ever been a Thanksgiving that could test fragile relationships and expose long-buried truths, this was it. The Forrester Mansion, tension wrapped in polished silver. Early that morning, Hope Logan Forrester stood in the Forrester kitchen, staring at the turkey with the same intensity one might give a bomb. The chef had called in sick, food poisoning, and Hope had confidently declared she could handle dinner. Now, she wasn't so sure. Behind her, Brooke walked in wearing an apron that read mess. Me, never. Hope, Brooke said gently, is the turkey supposed to still be frozen? Hope's eyes widened. Frozen? No, it was out for hours. She slapped it. Nothing. Solid as concrete. Brooke sighed. Honey, that bird could survive an apocalypse. As if on cue, Ridge entered, sniffing the air as if expecting Michelin star aromas. Instead, he froze. Is that a raw turkey? Hope slapped her forehead. We're doomed. Ridge cleared his throat. Maybe, just maybe, we should call Eric chef. Hope's eyes sparked with stubborn Logan fire. Absolutely not. I can do this. Everyone in the kitchen exchanged looks. No one believed that. Meanwhile, Sheila and Deacon attempt normal. Across town, Sheila Carter stood at Deacon Sharp's small dining table, smoothing a Thanksgiving tablecloth as if doing so could erase her reputation or the years of destruction behind her. This holiday, she announced, is symbolic. A new chapter. Deacon tried to smile. Yeah, just no knives at the table. Sheila paused. Deacon. He shrugged. Hey, habits. But Sheila ignored the jab and instead admired the centerpiece she'd made. Plastic pumpkins, glittered leaves, and something suspiciously resembling a stuffed raven. It's festive, she insisted when Deacon noticed. Festive or cursed, he muttered. Before Sheila could respond, the doorbell rang. She stiffened. Do you think they'll actually show? Deacon opened the door, and his jaw dropped. Standing there, uninvited, was Bill Spencer. "Happy Thanksgiving," Bill said with a smug grin. "I figured someone should supervise." Sheila's eyes burned with restrained fury. Deacon whispered, "Don't kill him today. Holiday spirit." At Forrester Creations, Thomas spirals. While most people were prepping for family gatherings, Thomas Forrester sat alone in his office, staring at a dress design he couldn't focus on. He kept replaying Luna's disappearance, Hope's distance, and his own growing suspicion that people were keeping secrets from him. His phone buzzed with a text. "Unknown number. She'll ruin you, and when she does, you'll wish you listened." Thomas's breath hitched. He typed back, "Who is this?" No reply. Instead, another message popped up. "A storm is coming." Thomas grabbed his keys. Whatever Thanksgiving chaos awaited, he wasn't spending it alone or silent. Back at the mansion, guests arrive. By early afternoon, the mansion was buzzing. Steffi and Finn arrived first, trying desperately to appear united, even though Luna's case still hovered between them like an invisible ghost. "Happy Thanksgiving," Steffi announced while Finn carried a pie so burnt it looked volcanic. Brooke whispered, "At least Hope's turkey won't be the only disaster." Hope, overhearing, glared. Then Taylor arrived, and immediately Steffi froze. Taylor stepped forward, offering a soft smile. "I didn't come to fight, just to give thanks, even if it's awkward." Behind her, another figure entered. Hope gasped. It was Zend, and he wasn't alone. With him stood a tall, striking woman, dark hair, emerald eyes, poised like someone who had never lost a battle. "Everyone," Zend announced dramatically, "this is Aurora." Ridge nearly dropped his champagne. Brooke blinked. "Aurora?" "As in Forrester International Aurora." "She flew in last night," Zend said proudly. "We're together." Hope's jaw dropped. Steffi whispered to Finn, "If Thomas walks in and sees this, someone's going to flip a table." Sheila's disaster dinner. Things weren't going better at Deacon's place. Bill poured himself wine like a king reclaiming land. Sheila tried breathing exercises. "So," Bill said casually, "any death threats today, or are we saving those for dessert?" Sheila smiled tightly. "I'm thankful you're still breathing." "That's mutual," Bill replied. Deacon muttered, "Can we eat before someone ends up in handcuffs?" The Forrester table, chaos served hot. Finally, the Forresters sat down. Hope presented the turkey, beautifully browned, golden, and absolutely raw inside. Ridge cut into it. Pink liquid oozed everywhere. Silence. Then Eric, weak but smiling from his seat, spoke softly. "Well, at least it looks festive." Ridge cleared his throat. "Pizza." Everyone nodded. Just as Ridge reached for his phone, the front door opened. Thomas walked in. His eyes scanned the room and locked on Zend, on Aurora, then on Hope. Thomas held up his phone. "Someone is sending threats. They know things." Brooke Logan was never the type to simply disappear. Even in her most chaotic moments, runaway weddings, late-night confessions, or a rushed flight to follow a torn-apart love, someone always knew where she was. There was always a trail, perfume, paparazzi, or conflict. But today, nothing. Not a text. Not a call. Not even a voicemail with shaky breath or emotional tremor. Los Angeles buzzed with its usual rhythm. Forrester Creations humming with tension and whispered gossip. But under that polished marble and luxurious office lighting lurked something rare. Fear. Because Brooke Logan was missing. Chapter 1. The Silence. Ridge paced his office like a caged animal. His jaw was clenched tight, hands digging into his sides as if holding himself together. Carter watched him from the doorway, unsure whether to interrupt. "Still nothing?" Carter finally asked. Ridge stopped moving. His voice was gravel. "Her phone went dead late last night. No response, no activity, no security camera hits. It's like she vanished." Carter stepped inside, gently closing the door. Could she be avoiding someone? Maybe taking space. Ridge shot him a look sharp enough to cut glass. Brooke doesn't disappear quietly. She leaves a trail of emotional debris wherever she goes. It would have been funny under any other circumstances, but now, there was nothing funny about any of it. Just then, the door swung open and Hope rushed in, breathless and pale. "Mom wouldn't do this," she said, voice trembling. "Something happened to her." Ridge softened, reaching for her shoulder, but Hope flinched away, not in anger but fear. Fear that touching reality might make it worse. Chapter 2. The last time anyone saw her. Steffi stood in the main showroom. Stiff posture radiating guilt she desperately tried to hide. Liam joined her, eyes shadowed with concern. "You talked to her last," Liam reminded her. Steffi swallowed hard. "She stopped by the Cliff House yesterday afternoon. Said she needed clarity." Liam frowned. Clarity about what? Steffi hesitated, not because she didn't know, but because saying it aloud would ignite chaos. "About Ridge," she finally whispered. Liam exhaled sharply. "So the two of you argued." "It wasn't an argument," Steffi snapped, too defensive. Liam didn't push. "Not yet. What did she do afterward?" Steffi shook her head. "She left. She said she was going home, that she had made a decision." Liam stiffened, and nobody heard from her since. Steffi's voice dropped, haunted. "No." Chapter 3. Heartbeats and Clues. Bill Spencer wasn't invited to Forrester that morning, but that never stopped him before. He stormed into Ridge's office, ignoring objections. "Has anyone checked security footage near her house? Highway cams? Toll booths? Gas stations?" Bill demanded, anger rising like a tidal wave. "We're working on it," Ridge snapped. "Not fast enough," Bill growled. The rivalry between them simmered, but today it was overshadowed by something fiercer: desperation. Hope pulled a folded paper from her purse. "This was on the kitchen counter," she whispered. "I found it this morning." Ridge took it, unfolding it with trembling fingers. "Brooke's handwriting. Don't look for me. I need time. I need to figure out who I am without all of you. Please trust me. B." Hope shook her head violently. "She didn't write that. Not seriously. Not without talking to me or Ridge or my kids. Someone forced her. Someone wants her gone." Bill folded his arms. "Or someone wants us to think she left willingly." The room chilled. Ridge's voice dropped to barely above a whisper. "I know Brooke. That letter isn't her." Chapter 4. The Investigation. Hours later, Deputy Chief Baker stood in the Forrester conference room, surrounded by anxious faces. Ridge, Hope, Liam, Steffi, Bill, Carter, and Taylor. "Brooke hasn't used her credit cards, phone, tablet, or key fob since last night," Baker stated. "Her vehicle is gone, but we haven't tracked it." "What about surveillance?" Bill pushed. Baker paused. "We found a match. One camera caught her car heading north on the Pacific Coast Highway at midnight." Hope covered her mouth. "North? But where would she go?" Taylor looked down, uneasy. "There's a retreat center. A private one. Brooke went once years ago." Hope shook her head. "No, she wouldn't go there. She was scared of that place after the last time." "She wasn't alone in the car," Baker added. Silence sucked the air from the room. Ridge stepped forward. "Who was with her?" Baker met his eyes. "We don't know yet. The image is grainy, but we're working on cleaning it." Chapter 5. Secrets Unravel. Later that night, Hope sat alone in Brooke's living room, staring at a framed photo of her mother smiling, vibrant, unstoppable. Tears finally fell. "Where are you, Mom?" The house felt wrong. Too still. Too empty. Then something caught her eye. A drawer left slightly open. Hope knelt, pulling it open fully. Inside lay a small voice recorder. Brooke used it during meetings sometimes. Hope pressed play. Static. Then Brooke's panicked voice. If anything happens to me, it won't be an accident. Someone is trying to silence me. Someone close. Hope's breath hitched. Her mother sounded terrified. I know the truth now, and if they find out I know. A sudden bang cut her off. Brooke gasped. A man's voice, distorted, angry, unrecognizable. Then the recording ended. Hope dropped the device. Someone took Brooke. Someone she trusted. Chapter 6. The reveal begins. Morning returned with urgency. Ridge and Bill stood shoulder to shoulder. Strange allies, listening to the recording. Ridge's face darkened. She didn't just run away. Something happened. We release this to the police, Bill ordered. Hope grabbed his arm. No, not yet. If the person who did this finds out we have that recording, Brooke could be in more danger. Her logic was solid and terrifying. Steffi entered then, holding her phone. We got the enhanced footage. Everyone crowded around her screen. Brooke's car, headlights cutting through darkness, Pacific Highway glimmering. Then, a silhouette in the passenger seat. The image sharpened. Hope gasped. Ridge cursed. Bill's fists tightened. Taylor's hand flew to her mouth. Steffi stumbled back, whispering, No, that's impossible. Because the person beside Brooke was Deacon Sharp. Chapter 7. The Hunt. Within minutes, alarms were raised. Liam, Ridge, and Bill split into separate search routes along coastal roads. Detectives spread out, drones launched, and digital forensics kicked into high gear. Hope refused to stay behind. She's my mother, and he won't hurt her. Deacon wouldn't. But her voice quivered with doubt. Because Deacon had disappeared too. Chapter 8. The Truth in the Dark. Hours later, on a remote cliff overlooking crashing waves, Ridge found the car. Brooke's car. Empty. Wind howled, cold and vicious. Ridge called her name until his voice broke. Hope and Bill arrived minutes later. Hope ran toward the shoreline, frantic. Mom. Mom. Then she froze. Bill followed her gaze. A small fire pit. Blankets. 2 coffee cups. And footprints. 2 sets, leading toward a wooded trail. Bill exhaled shakily. They weren't running. They were hiding. Chapter 9. The Confrontation. The group moved carefully up the trail until voices echoed, faint but unmistakable. Brooks and Deacon's. Bill rushed ahead, Ridge right behind him. They emerged into a clearing. Brooke stood there, alive, tear-stained but unharmed. Deacon beside her, protective. Ridge froze. Relief. Nobody ever expected anyone to start a major life shift in an Italian chain restaurant. But Maggie Whitlock was learning that life rarely asked for permission before tipping upside down. She sat in her usual booth at Papa Rocco's Perfect Pasta, peeling apart a warm breadstick and dipping it into marinara like she always did on Friday evenings. Routine was her comfort, especially lately. The breadsticks were soft, buttery, and warm, the kind of comfort food designed to trick someone into believing everything was temporary, solvable, and sweet. But tonight wasn't routine. Tonight, someone was walking toward her table. Someone she hadn't seen in 11 years. Her older brother, Daniel. His silhouette was unmistakable. Tall, slightly slouched shoulders like he spent his life apologizing for existing. His once shaggy brown hair now streaked with silver at the temples. His eyes found hers before he reached the booth. Maggie froze mid-chew, throat tightening. She forced the bread down with a hard swallow. So much for calm. Daniel gave a small, uncertain smile. Hey, Megs. Her fingers trembled. Not visibly, she hoped, as she reached for her water. Daniel, she breathed, voice thinner than she expected. You actually showed. Yeah. He slid carefully into the seat opposite her, folding his hands on the table like someone entering a courtroom rather than a restaurant. I said I would. She almost laughed, but the sound stuck somewhere in her chest. You've said a lot of things. The words fell heavier than she intended, but she didn't take them back. Silence settled like fog between them. A waitress arrived, chipper and oblivious. "Welcome to Papa Rocco's. Can I get you started with anything besides breadsticks?" Daniel lifted a brow. "Those are dangerous. If I eat one, you might need to roll me out of here." The waitress laughed as if she'd heard the joke for the first time, not the 100th. Maggie stared at him. He remembered the breadstick joke. She hated that her eyes stung. "Lasagna!" Daniel finally told the waitress when she waited too long. "And for you?" she asked Maggie. "The usual," Maggie murmured. The waitress nodded. "Chicken Alfredo it is." She whisked away. Another silence. The atmosphere hummed with conversations, clinking forks, and soft Italian music overhead. Life happening while she tried to decide whether hugging her brother or throwing marinara in his face would feel better. Finally she asked, "Why now?" Daniel leaned back. "Because 11 years is long enough to avoid someone you love." She blinked rapidly. Anger, disbelief, old disappointment. Everything churned together. "You disappeared," Maggie whispered. "No note. No phone calls. No return address. Nothing." His jaw tightened. "I know. You missed weddings, birthdays, Mom's funeral." He winced. "I know." Her voice cracked. "You missed me." That finally pierced something in him. He reached for a breadstick, but stopped before touching it like he needed permission. Old instinct told her to nod. Old wounds told her not to. She did nothing. He slowly lowered his hand. "I wasn't ready to see you," he said quietly. "Or anyone. I wasn't okay." "That's not a reason," she snapped. "It's the truth." She hated how tired he sounded. Hated that she recognized it because she carried that same exhaustion for years. When she waited for him, defended him, cried for him, grieved someone still alive. "Do you want the whole story?" he asked. She hesitated. "Yes," she said finally. "I deserve that." He nodded, exhaling slowly. "It started before I left. You know that. I'd lost my job. My marriage was cracking, and I didn't know how to fix it. I felt like I was drowning every day. And every time I looked at you, at how perfect you were handling life, I felt like a failure." "I wasn't perfect," she said, stunned. "I was barely functioning." He shook his head. "You graduated college. You had friends, plans, a future. I had debt panic attacks, and a feeling that I was falling apart faster than I could pretend." "So you ran," she said flatly. "Yeah," he said. "I ran." Her throat tightened again, not anger this time, but heartbreak she'd buried and pretended wasn't still bleeding. "Where did you even go?" "A lot of places. Mostly construction jobs, across states. Places where no one knew me. No expectations. No pressure. But you could have called." "I couldn't," he murmured. Every year that passed made the silence heavier. I didn't know how to break it. She let that settle and sink. Sometimes silence becomes a prison, not a choice. Their food arrived, steaming and fragrant. The waitress set plates down, refilled drinks, and left again. Neither of them reached for their forks. Maggie finally picked up a breadstick. She didn't break it apart delicately this time. She took a large bite, chewing slowly while she stared at him, not angrily but searching. "Why now?" she repeated. Daniel took a breath. "Because I got diagnosed with congestive heart failure 6 months ago." The world didn't stop, but her heart did. She put her breadstick down. "What?" "It's not immediate," he said quickly, lifting his hands. "Not terminal yet, but it's there. And the doctor said something that stuck." "What?" "Fix what's broken before time fixes it for you." Emotion swelled so abruptly she couldn't blink it away fast enough. "So I made a list," he said, "of things I needed to repair, things I wanted to stop running from." He looked straight into her eyes. "You were first." She covered her mouth with her hand, half to stop the sob rising from her chest, half to steady herself. For 11 years, she'd imagined this moment hundreds of ways. Angry shouting, tears and apologies, Hugs. None included failing chicken Alfredo and lukewarm breadsticks. She finally whispered, "I don't forgive you. I didn't expect you to. But," she continued, voice wavering, "I'm willing to try. If you stay." Daniel let out a breath that broke open something fragile between them. "I'm staying," he said, "if you'll have me." She studied him, not the ghost she once knew, but a man worn by life, humbled by regret, desperately trying to rebuild the bridge he burned. "I don't know how to do this," she admitted. "We start small," Daniel said. He reached for a breadstick, slowly, and this time she nodded. He tore a piece and held it out. A peace offering. A beginning. She tore from it too. For a long moment, they chewed, quietly, not awkward silence, but rebuilding silence, the kind that stitched broken things together one thread at a time. Finally, Daniel cleared his throat. "Remember that night before I left, when we ate an entire basket of breadsticks because the waiter forgot our food?" She snorted unexpectedly. "We threatened a hunger strike, and then celebrated with cheesecake. You cried during the birthday song." He laughed, really laughed. It was a sound she hadn't heard in over a decade. "I cried because they surprised me with confetti," he corrected. "In my drink. I inhaled it." She shook her head, smiling despite everything. "Drama was always your specialty." "Still is," he muttered, finishing the breadstick. For the first time tonight, Maggie relaxed into her chair. Not everything was healed. Not everything was forgiven. But something was shifting. Daniel took another bite of lasagna, then asked quietly, "Do you think there's a chance someday we can be siblings again?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she reached across the table, the smallest gesture but monumental in weight, and placed her hand over his.